Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be looking at Laurel's Earth Spirit. He went 8-0 this game. This was the grand finals of the recent Dream League tournament. 8-0, 20 assists. I mean, that's a performance. It's quite a performance in particular because I'm surprised he has no debts. This is a build where you're going Blade Mail, you know what I mean? You're buying Heart. I mean, obviously Heart keeps you alive, but at the end of the day, he's the frontliner. Now, I will say, I think EG's draft, Shopify's draft, has one major flaw, but I think it's a real major flaw, which is I don't really see a kill combo within any of the heroes. What I mean by that is I feel like in Dota, usually you want some sort of form of burst damage, and you might be saying, oh, but they have like Coddle's Storm and, you know, Coddle's Buying Vessel. Maybe that could be seen as good enough. I just usually feel like if you're picking Storm, maybe they even feel like Impetus is just good enough. Hard to say. Maybe they just wanted to scale. I don't know exactly what Shopify was going for. I just think that when you pick Storm, it's nice to have a Grim or a Sky or a Mirana, something like that. I know not everyone goes by this logic, and there's a lot of thought processes that go into the pro scene, but either way, let's get into it. All right, before we get into the main part of the video, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not only posting videos here on YouTube, I also frequently post videos on the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, almost every single day, I'm posting a new video to the Game League website. We're going to teach you guys in depth about how to get to the next level. So if you want to become absolutely broken, click the link down below and sign up. All right, so in the laning stage, what's really ridiculous about Earth Spirit as a hero is the fact that your Q does 40% bonus damage to creeps, which means that this 120 damage at level 1, which is already absurdly high, right? This nuke at level 1 is just insane. It just does 40% more damage, which makes it do, it's like 170 or something, right? So range creeps just die from half health. Like Laurel just walks up to this range creep. Yeah, 168 is just nuts. And so these ranged heroes that would typically bully something like Earth Spirit don't have that, because all you have to do is pull some creep aggro, right? Avoid taking too many auto attacks. Your hero has 3 armor, bad damage. Don't trade, right? Just do what Laurel does. Play for the CS, play for scaling, and kick at the range creep. You'll never get it denied unless you're like really awful, because once again, in a scenario like this, you just kick it, right? It's so absurdly easy. Then you're gonna get a good bottle timing because you could go Quelling Blade, right? He has plenty of stats, Quelling Blade. You are a strength hero, so the stats don't give you too much like something like a Pango might get out of it, but you do get a lot of value nonetheless. You can also kick through melee creeps if truly necessary. And in the current state of the mid lane, it's very easy to sustain this hero, and as I said, you're just not gonna get bullied out because of the fact that you're going to get a good bottle timing, you're going to be able to roll for one of the water runes as well, and that just makes it absurdly easy to do okay at minimum. So from there, what Laurel does is he stacks up on stats, picks up raindrops, belt of strength, magic wand, and they actually end up picking up a kill on Abed here. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Yeah, and essentially I think his goal is just to have enough HP where he's always going to be able to push out the lane. Because if you can push out the lane on Earth Spirit, you can contest bounty runes, power runes, eventually the wisdom rune, and you can look for side lane ganks. So essentially you just want to stat up so that when you bottle, which he doesn't even do here, but you could backpack Wand, Belt of Strength, Branch, and then get absurd value out of your bottle charges, and of course value out of your wand charges by dropping the Belt of Strength. And that's something I do like. I like having that option. But yeah, just because of the fact that he's able to stat up and buys a ton of these stats, he's able to have a high HP pull and feels comfortable going on Abed here, and a good rotation from Mira gets the job done. And yeah, you don't really want to go for solo kills until you have your ulti. For the most part, it's kind of just farm it up, farm it up, farm it up, and then eventually, if you get a rotation from your 4, go for a kill, or if you get your 6, go for a kill. Now, one of my favorite rotations in the game is the 7-minute kill rotation. So essentially, position 4s and 5s will very often go for your wisdom rune, right? And what you do is you say, okay, if they go for it, or if I know they're going for it, I'm going to TP. And unfortunately, he makes the bad play of rolling immediately, which he shouldn't have done, because Skywrath does not have a TP cancel, but typically you can get a kill there, right? He could have dropped the Magnetize on the Enchantress, picked up a nice kill, got his XP up, prevented her from getting the Wisdom Rune, which she didn't get anyway. Oh, they got double Wisdom this game. That's so bad. Oh, ooh, that's bad. From there, because level 3 kick one-shots range creeps, what you're going to do is just kick through the wave, right? You want to basically kill off the range creep, 2 auto attacks on the other creeps to kill them off, and then you're going to max out your W. You want to max the W because getting it down to the 4-second cooldown is when this ability actually becomes very, very strong. Until then, it's not that good, right? It's sort of just, it's just whatever. It's hard to actually stay incredibly mobile and be totally untouchable. As we see him rotate for fly here, going through the centaur creep, kind of have to ulti to kill certain supports, right? As we'll see him drop the ulti onto the enchanters here. And the nice thing about Earth Spirit is if someone actually tries to contest you, you just drop the ulti, because how the ability works is you click it, you have to be in melee range of your opponent. Then when you click it, if you're in melee range, they'll start ticking. And every 5 seconds, if you put a stone down next to them and someone's close to them, it will share the magnetized with that person. And so people can't really save the supports that you're going on due to the fact that if they try, then what inherently happens is that they will get the magnetize on themselves as well, and it will become a very hard play. So the next thing you typically want to do is look for tower dives. If the enemy ever dives you, there's like no chance they get out, right? If they dive one of your tier 1 towers, there's basically no way they can get out, because your W, especially when it's maxed, which it's not here, but especially when it is, they're just never going to get away, right? And so you'll see they dive the tower here, which I actually didn't think was some incredibly good TP. In fact, I'm blown away by the fact that he TPs here, because he has no mana, no wand charges, he doesn't even have his Q up, he just teleports assuming that 1 W is good enough here, right? Which is just a nuts proposition, and it honestly looked really bad, but they mass TP, and then with the Dawnbreaker ulti, he's actually fine, right? He's actually okay. He doesn't end up going down here. They're able to turn it around, and that's just, I mean, that's huge. So really heads up TP, usually not a fan of those types of plays, because if they don't work, your game's ruined. They're unlikely to work because you don't have resources. And then even if they do work, you have to immediately go back to base because you don't have any sort of resources. And, you know, that's not incredibly great for your game either. So I would typically avoid that type of TP unless your team is super on the same page, right? They brought literally the carry as well, so all of their cores were there, and that allowed them to secure a core kill on Arteezy's Alchemist, but not a huge fan of that play generally. From there, he's farming up his Blade Mail, pushing out the mid wave with a little bit of usage of the W, a little bit of usage of the Q, and generally what you're doing now is just trying to complete that Blade Mail and eventually make a smoke with one of your kill supports. The best time to pick Earth Spirit is when you have something like a Grimstroke, or you have something like a Skywrath, maybe Rana's okay, right? Some sort of follow-up damage, some sort of, right, nuke, right? Mid-game nuke that is going to allow you to secure kills. And now you're going to see the power of the Earth Spirit, right? In a team fight like this is where the hero looks absolutely incredible. You don't even have to get that much value out of your hero. It's just about being able to easily secure the first kill of the fight. As we see him roll out, I think he was afraid of the Storm's hit. Dawnbreaker ulti comes in, rolls back in, can eventually drop the Magnetize. They take down the Night Stalker, big damage. And from there, if this guy didn't get an Invis rune, he would have been able to terrorize the Storm all the way back to his tower. Now, as I was kind of mentioning earlier, the best place to look for in the mid game is push out the mid wave and then look for a kill in the side lane, right? Look for carries pushing out bottom in particular, especially heroes like Phantom Assassin, maybe something like a Spectre, a Sven, some hero with pretty poor mobility, general mobility, and low HP pool that you can chase down. Right? Obviously, you can also kill strength heroes. That's definitely a possibility. You're just going to need a little bit of backup. So we'll see in this clip here, after they win a mid fight, he's going to push out the mid wave, get the mid rune, he gets a haste, and he sees the Night Stalker sprinting it down bottom. So what does he do? He pushes out the mid wave, limiting the enemy vision, increasing his gold, right? Just making his game good and making the enemy vision pretty bad. And then he TPs bottom, and right? They're going to be able to chase down the Night Stalker. This is a great kill because of the fact that it's going to allow their carry to now farm the bot side of the map comfortably. They can control these wards for even longer because right now Shopify won't feel comfortable just being in this area because their hero just died. And now what is he going to do after he gets that kill? He's going to make his way back towards the mid lane, takes the Philosopher's Stone, which I actually really like because tier 1 neutral items, honestly, a lot of them are just as good as tier 2 neutral items. So if you get a Philosopher's Stone on a hero that potentially will die a lot, even though he doesn't die this game. If you get a hero that might die a lot, it's good to take the Philly Rock and just hold a tier 1 neutral item, right? And just use that, and when you die, swap in the rock. It's very, very efficient. And sort of the nice thing about Earth Spirit mid nowadays is that if the game slows down, because of the fact that your Q does 40% bonus damage, you just wipe through camps. And so, yeah, even in a situation like this where typically you can't really farm that fast, you kind of can on Earth Spirit. Your Blade Mail passively reflects damage, and then with the Q, just clear waves, clear camps. If there's kills or there's one of these side lane plays, as we talked about, it's push out the mid wave, look for a TP. And this is how Laurel decides to play this game for the most part, and I like it. It's consistent, it's cool. I hate the fact that he has a Philosopher's Stone. I think this absolutely sucks. The GPM is just not that good. I don't know what to say. I feel like 800 gold in 10 minutes to reduce right-click damage on a hero that does right-click. Like, here's the thing. You have a slow and a stun. You right-click. Even Blade Mail Heart gives you a decent amount of damage. Like, he'd be hitting for 170 right now. You know what I mean? So I personally just think it's really awful. I would never recommend this. All right, and a team fight's gonna break out after this Roshan attempt, as they see the Faceless Void TB top. Now let's see how he executes on this fight. So they're gonna hit the portal, but Arteezy started pushing in bottom, and he wanted to look for the kill. I guess he probably assumed, okay, the Alk is going to see Faceless Void top. Let's make a play bottom. And I think Shopify kind of had a similar idea, which is like Void is top. Let's try to kill bottom. And so I would say Team Spirit sort of read this movement to some extent. As Laurel's going to roll in, at this point you can initiate the fight, so you have Blade Mail Heart. So you're the guy who's just going to kind of make the first move. As the Chrono comes out on a Night Stalker, at this point you just want to disrupt the fight, right? You want to check who has BKB, who has a Dispel. If they don't have BKB and they don't have a Dispel, get that ulti down, right? Start getting it ticking, just keep it going by dropping Stone Remnants on them, and look to spread it when possible. So he drops the ulti on the Alchemist, and honestly more damage than I expected onto this Alchemist from this Deso Dawnbreaker, and the Mjolnir ended up getting the job done. It was really close to Arteezy getting out, but unfortunately the Mjolnir gets the job done. The Magnetize still continuing to tick, and yeah, triple kill for Laurel. And for his next item, he picks up a Sange, which I think is crucial. People don't get this. Your regen with Heart is not that good until you get Sange. Sange gives you 20% extra HP regen amp. Now, you might be like, oh, it's only 20%. Guys, it's 20% for 2,000 gold. And then it gives you an absurd amount of health, 16 strength on a strength hero, so you right-click hard as well, status resist, which is incredible if you're the frontliner, and eventually it's going to build into Kaya Sange, and then all the numbers get better, right? And of course, Kaya Sange on Earth Spirit is wonderful, which is why this build is just so clean, you know what I mean? And at this point in the game, you're going to notice that Laurel can kind of just be a terrorist for the enemy backline, right? It's very hard for enemy supports to play this game when your cores can't really help you deal with the enemy mid. You'll see he's going to go on a crit here on his Coddle. The Coddle does end up going down immediately, and from there it takes a lot of damage to the Impetus. Honestly, the Enchantress was a bit of a threat to him here, but eventually he's able to roll in towards the backline, drops a nice Magnetize onto 2, and decides he wants to take this Enchantress out of the fight. You're not going to kill a BKB Alchemist, don't waste your time, just take out the enemy supports, get the job done with Magnetize, and then later into the fight you can control the enemy cores with your Silence, Stun, and Slow. Now let's quickly talk about the talents as they make a high ground attempt. So at level 10, you take 10% Spell Amp. I think this was kind of a big reason why this hero shot into the meta. 10% Spell Amp is just very, very good, right? Helps you push out those waves even faster. At level 15, honestly, I like both of the talents. I think rolling boulder damage is not bad, and definitely can be taken in certain games. However, magnetized damage and duration on a mid hero that eventually is going to go Kaya Sange and is going to stay alive for like forever makes a lot of sense, right? That magnetize is going to keep going on for a very, very long time, and the duration is great. You might be like, oh, why do you need duration? You're going to keep it going anyway. Well, you don't want to run out of boulders, right? You do actually have boulder problems as the game progresses. For instance, going into this team fight here, he only has, well, now he has 0 boulders, which I actually think is something he needs to be more careful about here. Running out of boulders going into a team fight is kind of just, I would say, overall bad management. And, you know, it ends up not mattering because his Faceless Void is just 1v9ing at this point in the game. Like, this Void is just way too damn strong, right? There's very little they can do about him. But with 1 boulder, he's able to kill Storm. And finally, at level 20 and 25, boulder smash damage is typically what people take so that they can conveniently one-shot creep waves. And then at level 25, even though Magnetize Undispellable is a great talent and can be considered, I just feel like rolling boulder stun is a little bit too good. 0.5 might not seem very long, but what a lot of people don't understand is the stun duration on rolling boulder is doubled if you use a rock. And so yeah, both of the talents are great. I definitely respect either of the talents, and I think it just depends if you think you're getting a lot of value out of the Magnetize. Maybe you're buying Shard, and then you're going Octarine, and all of a sudden you have like a billion stones. In that case, it makes a lot more sense to take Magnetize Undispellable, as that thing can literally be going on for 30 to 40 seconds during a team fight, and we're talking about 156 damage per second. And we'll see that breakout in this fight here as a 2-man stun comes out, the Chrono onto the Alchemist. Very little, honestly, Shopify can do at this point in the game. But basically all you do in the team fights, as I said early on, look for the supports. If the enemy cores have no BKB, of course you can go on them, silence them, disable them. It's mostly about identifying, okay, who has BKB? If BKB is active, ignore them, try to get around them, create chaos around them. When those BKBs end, then you go back, you return, and you finish them off. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.